How's it going? It turns out my lovely wife was nice enough to supply us with the charger, so assuming Samsung's finest will continue to charge the phone while filming this, I should be able to get through the rest of these comments. Here's hoping. Roll up, whoops, roll up. Guinness this time, and here we go. Just a quick one. If the pull down unit isn't holding a vacuum, this is Lord Draver. If the pull down unit isn't holding a vacuum, would that have an effect on the 3-point unit? Maybe. It depends on why. If you've took it off and done a vacuum test, then no, it shouldn't be. Your vacuum pull down is knackered. If it's that the carburetor itself isn't producing any vacuum, then you've got a problem. Because it could well be that the manifold flange has split. It could be you've got a bad vacuum leak somewhere. But basically it's all contextual as to whether it's a component test scenario or an actual operational scenario, if that makes sense. I will say the vacuum pull down unit ain't all that. It's a part a lot of places will try to sell you, mostly because it directly attached to the auto choke that people always say is the problem that Pierburgs have. But I've seen cars that have had problems with the vacuum pull down. It ain't all that. It doesn't do that much. Really all it does is attempts to drop the choke flap open when you rev the car from cold. The bimetallic spring inside of the auto choke assembly is far more important. So basically, if you're not having any problems with any other aspect of the running of the vehicle, but it's not holding a vacuum, fuck it, don't worry about it. I would imagine it was an early attempt, as most auto choke carburetors were. I would imagine it's an early attempt at an emissions thing. It's the only reason I can think for the existence of the pull down unit, because in all my time of stripping them apart, I've never seen an enormous amount of reason for them being there. They don't do that much. So, yeah. That's as much rationale as I can give to that question. I hope that helps. I'm not sure what you were after with that, if you're actually having a problem with your carburetor and that's what led you to find that it wasn't doing that, but I wouldn't mind betting that's not your issue. I would say you're more likely having a problem with your 3-point unit. Quite common for those to get a little pinhole in the diaphragm or the seal fails, and then you end up with the symptoms that you're possibly, I'm interpreting this too much, but that you're possibly describing. And I'm pretty sure I replied to you anyway. Yeah, this shouldn't do as long as it's a separate vacuum unit. Yep. Leak at the back of the car. Oh, I'm pretty sure I've already been over all this with you. Anyway, there we go. I'm going to just skip over all the thank you side of things. It's not that I don't care about it. It's just that it gets self-indulgent. I will try to do like you suggest this weekend. Then I'll give you an update on the problems. Reason I'm trying to fix is the car chokes. It's very, very hard to start. Thank you so much. Get well soon, mate. Oh, I forgot it was ill when I did this video. I never heard back from you. I hope it went all right. Multi-Mike Collins. Choke flap stays open all the time. Any ideas what it might be? Thanks. Yeah, it's not connected. Could have been that some arsehole stripped it down and didn't put it back together properly. Could just be that it's, I don't know, for some reason you've had a coolant leak and it's rusted the bimetallic spring away. If it's staying open all the time, it's going to be one of three things. Someone hasn't rebuilt it right, someone hasn't adjusted it right, it's rusted away. There's no other reason for it to stay stuck open like that. Have you tried moving it by hand? If it moves by hand and still it's just flopped open, then I guarantee it's going to be something simple, like it's not connected. Question, I'm going to be brutally honest. In fact, I've already answered you, so don't worry. Hello, my friend. I have a carburetor like the one you show in the video. The choke is loose and takes a lot to start in cold. My question is, will you have available the other video to repair the choke? Thank you. Yeah, I could do a video on how to repair the choke. There's not a lot to it, to be honest with you. I could do it now, in fact, really. The fundamentals of it. So, basically, you got your choke, and it opens and closes through a small flap inside this enclosure here, a small armature. That's connected by a bit of bent metal to a rod that is attached to the bimetallic spring. It's that simple. Basically, if it's stuck open, same deal as before. Some asshole's not rebuilt it right, it's rusted away, or it wasn't set up right to begin with. This is the only thing I can think of. I hope that helps, my friend. I'm sorry if it seems a bit sort of half-assed, but that is genuinely all I can think of that could cause that issue. You guys are going to have to give me a second with these this second half, because I am kind of knocking through several videos in this. How's my battery life doing? Because there's no point in trying to film this if... Oh no. Not this guy. What's going on with this? Bear with me. Oh, it's actually charging while I'm filming. Good. Right. Let's go all the way to the bottom of this. Cheers. Welcome. Brilliant video. Welcome. I'd want you to do a complete teardown of a 2E2. The functions of the components. I'm still confused. How fuel is drawn and injected into the combustion chamber. Well, I would love to do a video of a complete teardown, and I plan to, hence why that piece of shit's in like 90 different pieces. But the fundamental side of it is fuel is drawn and injected into the combustion chamber. That question is, you need to reverse it. You've reversed it in the first half, and then in the second half is where you lose your way. So basically, the pistons moving down inside the engine creates an area of negative pressure or vacuum depression. The valve opens inside the head. The valve opens, exposing the now negative pressure to the open air. That suction, there is no suck, I know, to all the guys who read the fucking book when they studied it at college, but it's the simplest way to explain it. That suction transfers up the inlet manifold, up the ventures of the carburetor, and that negative pressure literally draws the fuel out of the carburetor. And basically, a carburetor, Eric the car guy, who is my fucking hero, explained it the best. Carburetors are a controlled fuel leak. You basically drill a hole that's big enough, but not too big, the right size to the micron. You drill a hole that's the right size, that at a certain amount of vacuum draw, the correct amount of fuel passes through. And that's all there is to it. Carburetors are a tube that just allows a fuel leak to happen at the right time. It's the best way I could describe it. So that's that. I hope that helps. It's been a year, so you probably already sussed this shit out, but there we go. I said I was going to go through these comments, and that's what I'm doing. God, I'm freezing. Sorry if I'm slightly sort of when I talk. It's really cold in here. Why do I insist on making videos in the garage? Find some time to explain the starter and pull down and the connection between. I'm really having hard times. There isn't one. The pull down is Yoko Ono in that whole scenario. It's the cause of a lot of people's problem solving, but it does very, very little. Do you know, for how into Pierburgs I am, I still don't fully understand why they're designed in the pull down unit, because it does so little. I have never had a problem with any Pierburg carburetor that has been solved by doing anything with the pull down unit. I just haven't. So your mileage may vary, but that's my experience of it. So there we go. Anyway, hope you can offer some advice on my carb problem. I have a 1.3 Polo 1990, wicked, with a 2E carb. When idling, the revs of the engine fluctuate continually. So from that, I'm getting vroom, 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 which says to me immediately rich mixture. When the engine's cold and is running with higher revs, the engine will run, but the revs fluctuate. When the engine's warm and the revs drop, the auto choke disengages. The engine struggles to idle as the revs fluctuate. At the lowest point in the revs fluctuation, the engine will cut out. It will do because it's flooding itself. What is causing this? Rich mixture. Too much petrol, mate. If it's if it's letting too much fuel in, basically you get an awkward scenario, especially with a Pierburg, because when the vacuum draw of the engine stops or reduces, your 3-point unit will open, which opens the throttles. So what you get is your rich mixture, your rich idle mixture will flood the engine partially. It will dump enough fuel in there that it runs like shit. The revs dip, the 3-point unit opens, which opens the throttle, which picks the revs back up. It comes down to normal. Too much fuel comes in, it stalls, the 3-point unit moves out, and that's where you're getting your vroom, vroom, vroom. See most cammed Ford engines from the 60s for that, because when you run a big cam in an old Ford pre-crossflow engine with like a twin choke Weber on it, for example, they're just designed to not do anything below 2000 RPM. They're just sat at the red line all the time, so it doesn't matter how they run. You listen to anything that's particularly cammy, it will run like shit because they've got the fuel dialed in. I'm talking carburetors, not fuel injection. They got the fuel dialed in for the top end of the rev range, so that it can make loads of power going around Silverstone or Brands Hatch or whatever. So that'll be, I reckon, what's causing that. Have a look at your mixture, idle mixture. That is removed from this carburetor. That gaping gap there, there'll be a tube sticking out of here with a flathead screw fitting in it. Have a look at that. Check your idle mixture. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. Hello, I have a 2E2 carb like this. Stage 2 vacuum unit is good, but carb don't pull vacuum. I clean vacuum hole but don't work. Please help me. Oh, fuck, man. I hate a language barrier as much as the next guy, but I honestly, I'm not sure what you're asking me. Stage 2 vacuum unit is good. Okay, so the secondary throttle's opening, but the carb doesn't pull vacuum. Oh, okay, yeah, I get you. Yeah, I get you. Check the rubber mount underneath the carburetor. It's not drawing enough vacuum. You've probably got a vacuum leak at the base of the carburetor. If it's not pulling enough vacuum to open the secondary, then and the unit itself is okay, then either your secondary is absolutely solid, or your carburetor is not drawing enough vacuum. You're correct. Best way to fix that is to have a look at the carburetor flange, make sure there's not a split in it. Hope that helps, man. And I really, really hope I interpreted that right, because I genuinely want to help. looking after that. Yeah, that guy looking after the Rocco. Fuck, I didn't reply to you. Whitwell Mike B, I really hope you got on well with that, Rocco. Let me know. Oh, see, some of these that seem urgent, I think I've replied to. Oh, he replied to a comment. And I didn't respond to him. Are the vacuum lines all 3mm? I don't know. I use diesel spill-off pipe. Don't know. Yeah. Thereabouts. Let's get some calipers and have a look. Vacuum line. There we go. World's cheapest composite fucking calipers you've ever seen in your life. But according to this, 4mm. So buy 3mm, stretch it over. Ain't gonna come off. That's my advice. I don't know what the ID and OD is of the stuff I use, but what I use is go to Halfords. Hashtag not sponsored. Go to Halfords and buy Vauxhall for some reason. They specify Vauxhall. Vauxhall diesel spill-off pipe. It's like vacuum hose but braided. Cloth braided, granted, but it's a nice quality vacuum line. The rubber's good quality. The braiding means it's more wear resilient. Genuinely, for the fucking like £7 it costs, it's just a no-brainer. Get people out there buying 30 feet of like 90mm thick, expensive. Don't bother with any of that shit. If it's gonna wear out, it's gonna wear out. There's nothing you can do about it. Buy the stuff from Halfords. Don't buy the other stuff because it's 5mm ID and it won't fit. Just buy the diesel spill-off pipe. I've never had a problem. Never collapses under vacuum. Never splits. And don't catch fire. Like, it's just, why would you use anything else? It's good. It's all good. So I hope that helps. How are we doing for battery? Just to make sure I wasn't totally stupid earlier. I should say, oh, yeah, it's definitely charging. I should say I replaced the screen in this phone and it lasted 2 days before someone knocked over a table leg on it. So, not very happy, and it's not very responsive to touch, in case you think I'm a total technophobe and can't actually operate a touch screen. So now we're on to the rear vacuum line routing and operation side of stuffs. I have made a dick of myself. Already been here. I clicked on the wrong video. I thought that was the loose choke one. I forgot we'd done that one. My bad, everybody. Sorry. Okay, so this is the Pierburg, the wax stat video. Of course it's a Pierburg video. It's pretty much all I do. Aside from showing you all my horribly rotted out GL. Still got it, by the way. Okay, no questions on that. Sound? Nice comments, thank you, but no questions. Last one. Have I really only done that? Those couple? Oh, Susie. Ugh, I'm in the middle of trying to paint that car at the moment, and I just fucking... Every single time I try and get a coat of paint on it, I need to go and do something. Just soul destroying, I just want to be out driving it. Right, anyway. Hi man, I want your help with the car but can't explain my problem on YouTube in comments. Can I write you on another social web? Yes, Facebook, as previously mentioned in the other thing. My Instagram is Kyle One More Monday, according to 6 months ago Kyle. 6 months ago Kyle knew what my Instagram was. So, yeah, get in touch. But Facebook is the same. Kyle One More Monday. Watched your informative videos on the Carb 2E2. Yeah, thank you very much. My 17-year-old son just bought a Scirocco 1.6 Auto. Yes! Last owner had it 20 years. Yes! Done 5 miles last year. Yes! He told us that it would stall while driving, so he lacked the confidence in it. Fair point. Yeah, because you've got no control over it. You can't dip the clutch and blip the throttle. Took ages to start. Change the plugs, fresh fuel and filter. No gauze in the fuel line. Check timing. All the right stuff. Thank you so much for fucking with all this other stuff before you started playing with the carburetor. Thank you. So many people go straight to that carb. It's like K-Series engines. Anytime a K-Series engine gets any problem at all, people start worrying about the head gasket. Like, just check the fundamentals. It might just be something really simple. Have you got a broken lead somewhere, maybe? Good effort, mate. Anyway, not to patronise you, sorry. I just... It fucking irritates me when people just go straight on the forums and go to the worst possible thing it could be. So it's just nice to see somebody doing what you should do, which is the fucking basics. Anyway, right. It's all good. It's all good. Once I got it running, it drove sweet, thinking it was dirty fuel. Happy days. Yeah, fair point. Straight through the MOT as well. Wicked. Now it won't start. Bollocks. Check carb vacuums and electrics on it. Great spark. All seems good. Dude, I feel so guilty about not replying. Of all the comments, I feel most guilty about not responding to this guy. Because I'm worried he's gotten rid of the car because he couldn't sort it. Or he sorted it without my help, which is ace. But I wasn't any help, which sucks. All seems good. What I did notice was self-tapper screw holding the plunger on the 3/4-point unit. Why do people do shit like that? Like, what are they achieving? It wasn't touching the fast idle speed anyway. Okay, so there's a problem with the 3/4-point unit that some chimp decided to fix with a fucking self-tapper. Before I take the carb off, so anyway, you can put it in the right direction. Last time we drove it, started backfiring badly before stalling. Thought it might be main carb gasket. No offence. I've done it before myself so many times. Check the distributor clamp bolt. This is all so redundant. But then again, someone else might come along with the same problem or a similar problem. Check the distributor clamp bolt. I once didn't do mine up and the timing decided to retard itself off enough that it would backfire through the carburetor and then die out. Could be the main carb gasket, but unlikely. The only reason it would be that was if that you were driving down the road using the vacuum advance and then suddenly the carb gasket split, destroying the vacuum, which means the vacuum advance also no longer works. Only thing I can think of. New 3-point unit, mate. Honestly, I'm sorry you waited a year for that, but try a new 3-point unit. It sounds to me just like somebody's just completely fucking gone in there. Absolute monkey. Probably used to just plugging an OBD scanner in and fucking... Oh, it says I need to fix a new sensor. Like someone who's just used to basically undoing a bolt and then doing up the same exact bolt but replaced. Has worked on that car. And they've just jammed a self-tapper in there, thinking they've fixed it. What they're doing essentially is forcing it to idle, which is fine until the problems that caused that problem have now reared their ugly head and started causing you problems elsewhere. So, yeah, my recommendation, try a new 3/4-point unit, try a new main gasket on the carb, and Godspeed, mate. I'm really sorry it took me so long to get back to you. Of all the comments I've not replied to, that's the one I feel most guilty about. Holy shit. I hope your son kept the Rocco, man. Because that was like my first car. So like, yeah. Anyway, I really hope it helped. Even if it didn't, I hope you sorted it. Just hope you sorted it. Watch videos on 218. However, I'm struggling with my Pierburg. I thought you could give me some insight. The problem is when I try to start the car, I've replied to this, haven't I? I remember this, dude. Yeah. I responded. Oh shit, I didn't reply to your comment. Sorry, dude. First problem I got figured out, but now the problem is that when I set up the auto choke, the bimetallic thermostat or spring, whatever it's called, doesn't stay in place for more than a day. Last time it did, and when I tried to cold start the car, the engine won't start because there's no air coming into the carbon, thus flooding it. I don't know how to fix. Dose it with penetrating oil. Free it off. It sounds like it's fine when it's closed until it opens all the way and then it gets stuck. especially you say a day at a time. So that sounds to me like it's good for one cold start, and then when it gets to that point, it sticks. It's either going to be that there's some shit on the shaft of the choke mechanism, or I don't know, something weird like your choke mechanism shaft is bent, so when it comes down, it just locks up. It's not a very strong spring, so it could be something really simple like that. I really hope that helps. And there's the dude I replied to. So we're all done, folks. It only took me a fucking hour of talking to reply to all this lot. I replied to that guy, Chris Foster, a moment ago. Chris, I really hope you got everything sorted, mate. Like I say, check that auto choke. Check that auto choke. It sounds like that is the absolute cause of your issues. So best of luck. And also, I've got to say a special thank you to Chris Foster for inspiring me to respond to you guys, because I looked at his reply and was like, I've just replied to that, so why the fuck can't I reply to these guys? It's only going to take me an hour. So there it is. Anyway, I'm hoping to get started on some more Pierburg videos soon. Now I'm getting a bit more time. It's starting to wind down towards Christmas and the New Year. So with any luck, I'll be able to do some of those teardowns and things you've been asking me about. Hope it's all good. Take it easy.